Welcome to Beyond Overeating by Wholesome Lifestyle Project, the Overeating Podcast, where I'll be showing up weekly to share with you what I've learned during my binge eating recovery, helpful tools such as yoga, mindfulness, and energy medicine. My name is Stell, and my purpose is to inform and educate so that you can fast track your recovery in healing your relationship with food and finally trust yourself around the peanut butter jar. Join me as I share top tips, my struggles and triumphs to help inspire or just entertain. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you if you can't stop overeating. That's why I'm here to guide you along the way. Hello, and welcome back to another bite-sized binge tip from Estelle, your host on the Beyond Overeating by Wholesome Lifestyle Project podcast. So I have often heard people wondering, well, am I an emotional eater? Am I a binge eater, impulsive eater? Am I addicted to food? I'm not quite sure. And often just that label stops us from trying to look for help, and it stops us from taking further action because we're like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm a binge eater. So I don't know if the Food Freedom for Binge and Emotional Eaters group that Estelle has is actually going to be helpful for me. So if you're not if you're not actually sure if you need help with your relationship with food, then this is going to give you just a bit of a guide on what to look for, and then you can make a decision from there. And if you were wondering why you are struggling to stop overeating in the first place, make sure to listen to episode 3, where I explain why you binge in the first place. So let's get to this. What are some indicators that you might have some unhealthy tendencies with food and that you might need help with healing your relationship with food? I've broken this down into 3 little segments. The first one is your behavior around food. And this behavior could range from binging until you feel sick. Some people hide food packaging. I used to do that very often. You eat very fast. You multitask while you're eating. You use food to cope or numb out. You sneak food. Such a big one for if you kind of haven't noticed, but you have a tendency to sneak food. That is quite a big one. Over exercising to make up for eating is another behavior that a lot of people take on. Counting every calorie or macro that you eat and burn off at the gym, or you lie about your food intake. If you say to someone, oh, well, I don't know why I can't shift this weight. I only eat salads during the day. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, like what I used to do is I'd eat healthy in front of my friends and then binge on the way home. So, next we have your feelings around food. And this is quite an interesting one. So if you ever feel rebellious when you eat, or you feel like you black out or are possessed when it comes to food, many of my clients feel that. That's the food zombie brain taking off that I mentioned in episode 3. You often feel anxious when you eat something, or when you're just walking past the bakery aisle. It brings up this massive anxiety attack in you, and it kind of triggers those thoughts about, don't get the pastry, don't get the pastry. Okay, get the pastry, only one. I'll eat it slowly. La 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 la. Um, and feeling guilty around eating. So if you haven't listened to episode 2, my first bite-sized binge tip, that was all the reasons why not to feel guilty for eating. You feel fear for certain foods. You can't feel hunger or fullness cues. So you just tend to eat and eat and eat when you do, and you just don't feel that fullness. Or you're feeling shame for what you have eaten. So, shame is such a big one, such a low vibrating emotion. Again, can send you off into so many triggered food behaviors. The last one is your thoughts around food. So, here it's about thinking about food more than usual, feeling like you thinking that you can't control yourself around food, thinking that you are addicted to food, thinking that you are a failure because you can't stop eating, thinking that you can't trust your body, and thinking that you just need more willpower to make the binges stop. So, if any of these relate to you, these are good indications that you might need help with healing that relationship with food. You're welcome to reach out into my Facebook group, Food Freedom for Binge and Emotional Eaters. Come say hi there. We give a lot of tips on healing that relationship with food. Or feel free to book a free 20-minute consultation with me by going to wholesomelifestyleproject.com. Work with me. Let's get started. I can't wait to see you in the next episode where I will be guiding you on how to recognize all your triggers. See you then. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today, and don't forget to share this with all your friends. You can do this by adding this to your Instagram story and tagging me at Wholesome Lifestyle Project, or by simply telling them about it. If you could rate and review on whatever platform you are listening, this will go a long way in helping me get this podcast out there so that I can share my message and help as many women out there struggling with food issues as I can. Don't forget, you can follow me on Instagram on Wholesome Lifestyle Project or connect with me on LinkedIn. My name's Coombe-Heath, and that's where you'll find me on LinkedIn. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.